And we are live for the Onyx Path news. Another fine Monday afternoon slash morning, depending on where you are. Maybe it's even the evening if you're farther east than I happen to be. Welcome once again to another wonderful show of announcements, news, updates, and hype building. What's the big news for today's episode? Well, it's nice and simple. I don't know why I've got these headphones in. I can't hear a word you are saying. If you haven't said something, you could shout at your computer right now. It's actually just because I came out of a meeting and, I just forgot to take them off. The biggest news isn't the fact that I'm wearing headphones. The biggest news is that last Wednesday we released PDF print on demand Scion Demigod. This is book 3 of the Scion series. It's a pretty big deal. Scion is one of our, it's one of our most popular games, one of our most best-selling games. Each of the Scion books so far has done very well on Kickstarter. And of course, Demigod is now available through Drive-Thru RPG. This is where the power really starts to ramp up. This is where you start to experience and exhibit those godlike powers, and where your journeys, heroic, mythological, and otherwise, start to get otherworldly. You're more likely, it's still slim, but you're more likely to go to punch Poseidon in the nose as a demigod and run away and not get flattened immediately. I say it's worth a try. You should give it a go in your particular Chronicles of Scion. Demigod is a beautiful book. The art in it is absolutely stunning. But most importantly, in my view, it's an incredibly well written book. It's really comprehensive. The team behind it did such a fantastic job. And something I always say about Scion and the way it scales, both mechanically and narratively, is the fact that a lot of players do find high level, epic level games difficult to pass, they say that something like 95% of D&D games never go beyond ninth level, I think it is. And so that's because people struggle when you've got a godlike array of powers at your disposal. Scion Demigod does what so few other games of godlike proportion are capable of doing, which is making all of that manageable, not just by scaling your opponents, but also scaling it narratively, making your characters still possess agency, not just threats, but things you can explore about yourself and the world around you. So do check Scion Demigod out. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised if you're not a fan of Scion already, and if you are and you haven't already bought a copy, well, the link is right below to pick yourself up a demigod. I can see that we have people already in the chat. Thank you very much for tuning in. We've got Schrodinger's cat, or do we? We have Ian handily posting links. We've got Elaine, a frequent flyer there. Hi. We've got German learning bro Meliad saying Guten Tag. Doing very well with your Duolingo there. And we've got Jonathan saying, I'm looking forward to getting the Kickstarter physical book, which is, of course, coming. And so is Scion Dragon. I'm very excited about that one. I lean more towards Masks of the Mythos because I'm always running at least one game of Call of Cthulhu a month for one group, rather. Right now it's Cthulhu by Gaslight, so Masks of the Mythos is very much in my wheelhouse. I played around a lot with putting Great Old Ones and Lovecraftian material in the They Came From Beneath the Sea game I ran for Red Moon Role Playing many years ago. Do check that out if you haven't. It's on Red Moon Role Playing's channel. It's a way of making Beneath the Sea horrific before Beyond the Grave came out. It was an interesting experiment of how to use things like quips and cinematics in a horrific Lovecraftian cosmic horror kind of a way. But aside from that, yes, Master of the Mythos and Scion Dragon are also coming soon. What else have we got coming up? Well, I think we've already announced. I'm pretty certain we've already announced. And if we haven't, I'm going to get in a lot of trouble right now. The Trinity Continuum Aether is our next crowdfunder. Will we be hosting it on Kickstarter? Will it be on Indiegogo? Will it be in a mysterious third option? We will have to see. These things aren't in concrete yet. But we do know that we're going to be pushing for Aether soon, and we will be teasing bits of Aether through the form of a fiction that I will be writing for all of you that will introduce you to some of the characters, some of the society, some of the events that are taking place in the 1895 that Trinity Continuum Aether is set in. If you're a fan of steampunk, If you're a fan of Jekyll, Hyde, Dracula, and other public domain figures, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. If you are a fan of H.G. Wells's War of the Worlds, or indeed The Time Machine, if you are a fan of Victoriana, Trinity Continuum Aether is going to be for you. There's Tesla on one side, there's Edison on the other. You're going to spin up your Aether and change the world, change your body, change what you are, or are you going to try and unwind all the damage everyone else has done, potentially to the point of unwinding time? We shall see. Trinity Continuum Aether is coming up very soon, hopefully in July. That's the intention. And we will reveal more as and when we can. So, what else do we have going on? Well, of course, there will be releases coming up this week. Do check out the Monday Meeting blog. It will be, as the name implies, up later today. For those of you in Europe, it will be up tomorrow morning. That's what I always do. First thing on Tuesday morning, I check the Monday Meeting blog and see what I missed. And I always find something that's surprising. Usually it's some wonderful art that I've not viewed before because it's on a game that doesn't connect to me. But here's an exciting piece of news, something that I know a lot of people have been waiting on because it was mentioned in last week's Onyx Path news. Someone said, what's the status of Tome of the Pentacle for Mage the Awakening? Now, Tome of the Pentacle has taken a fair old while to get through its draft phase. It's a complex book with complex systems and complex ideas behind it. Fantastic content, a brilliant team, but these things take time to put together. Well, I've got good news because Tome of the Pentacle is entering development as of this week, and we hope to get it through development pretty quickly because the team did such a fantastic job of writing the drafts. It shouldn't hopefully need too much development. So that means after development, it will go off to Paradox for manuscript approval, and then the sky and indeed the planes are the limit for our little book of Mage. So if you're a fan of Mage the Awakening, there is that coming up too. I see we've got even more questions here. Great shirt. Thank you very much. We also have, are the immortal knacks that are presented in Demigod also available for hero level Scions or only demigods? That's a very good question. I don't think they would be available for hero level Scions. I believe they become available when you are demigods, but that is a guess. I would need to check the text again to confirm for a certainty. If in doubt, ask in the Scion Discord and you will get an answer. If you don't know where our Onyx Path Discord is that has the Scion server on it, do look below because there is a link to join it. This is where all the chat goes on. We, of course, have the Onyx Path forums, but more active than those, we have the Onyx Path Discord with a separate server for every single game, and there is always at least one conversation going on in the Scion Discord. So if you've got any questions about Scion, get on in there and ask your questions. We've also got, so let's see, Jonathan is, meanwhile, complimenting Ian A.A. Watson there, saying, I really enjoy the Trinity Continuum. I really enjoy it as well. I'm working on something, not just Aether, for the Trinity Continuum coming up. And yeah, well, you know what? I think we can call it there. I think making the big spotlight Scion Demigod is the right call. But one last thing. Do keep your eyes open for Virtual HorrorCon. It isn't this weekend, but the weekend after. Look it up, Virtual HorrorCon, because not only are there games by many and varied companies taking place at this convention of a horror theme, panels too. Onyx Path are there. We are sponsoring it. We have got They Came From panels, horror gaming panels. We've got a game of Trinity Continuum Assassins being run. We all have a game of They Came From Camp Murder Lake being run as well. As ever, if you want to buy copies of our games, Assassins and Camp Murder Lake are both available. You can pick them up on DriveThruRPG. But if there are games of ours that are on DriveThruRPG, usually core books, and you want a traditionally printed copy, do check out Indie Press Revolution. Do check out Studio 2. Do check out your friendly local gaming store. And if they don't have a copy, ask them to order it. You can get traditionally printed copies. You can get deluxe copies and prestige copies. It isn't just the Kickstarters, the Indiegogos, the crowdfunding campaigns that supply those things. Stores have them in stock too. So you just need to get out there and order. But if you're a fan of PDF and print on demand, go on Drive-Thru RPG. Check out Virtual HorrorCon. Buy yourself a copy of Scion Demigod. Have a lovely rest of your week. And I will go and have something to eat. Bye-bye.